you served as chairman of the Edwards Aquifer from 1996 to 2004. Tell us why the EAA was established. How did that start?
Well, San Antonio had always felt pretty good about water, just pumping from the Edwards. Matter of fact, we turned down a bunch of water from Canyon Lake. Gosh, I guess it was in the late 80s, was it, Doug, when we turned down that water from Canyon? But the people downstream from us were not happy. They thought we were taking too much water, which was affecting their wells, and they finally figured out they could have a lawsuit against us by using the Endangered Species Act.
But didn't this really start with Ronnie Puchek's catfish farm? I mean, isn't that what really got everybody's attention? All of the water that he was using, millions of gallons of water a day?
I think that was a side issue, really, to the big battle. That was a big battle unto itself, but that was really a side issue to the bigger issue of sharing the resource and limiting the amount of water that San Antonio would take, and then finding other sources of water that we have since done.
And tell us about the lawsuit that was filed.
Well, the funny thing I like to kid about the lawsuit, it was Barshop, was it Medina v. Barshop or Barshop v. Medina, and Phil Barshop was on our board. The reason it was Barshop was his was the first alphabetical name of the original directors, and I always kidded Phil, if it hadn't been for him, it would have been Beldon.
That was being sued, right?
So the people from Medina filed a lawsuit, and I don't remember how long before that settled, because when we started, there were only 13 members when we first started. Because the Medina County members did not join the board until that lawsuit was settled or abated or whatever it was. It's a long time ago. So we started out with 13 board members, very, very politically fractured. Our first board meeting when I was elected chair, it was a 7-6 vote on every single thing that happened that night.
Oh, gosh.
So we didn't start out as friends. But we worked together, and eventually people began to recognize each other as people who had a life to live, and they simply needed water, and we needed to come together as a group, and we got to be really good friends on there.